They don't start with insults. They don't begin with shouting. No. Toxic people begin with doubt. They whisper questions that sound harmless. They plant ideas that seem considerate. They twist concerns into traps. And before you realize it, you are explaining yourself, apologizing, defending, shrinking. Think about the last time someone made you question your own intentions. Maybe they asked why you were so sensitive. Maybe they acted confused when you set a boundary. Maybe they suggested you were overreacting right at the moment you were finally standing up for yourself. These tactics are psychological traps, silent, subtle, effective. They don't need aggression to control you. They only need you to doubt yourself. And that is the danger, when the trap does not feel like a trap, when manipulation looks like concern, when guilt wears the costume of love, when criticism parades as just being honest. These traps work because they target your emotions, your desire to be understood, your fear of conflict, your instinct to be fair. Manipulators exploit your strengths, not your weaknesses. The art of toxicity is not chaos, it is cytology, it is strategy, it is quiet. And if you don't recognize it, you become the perfect target. But here's the shift. Toxic tactics fail the moment you see them, because their power relies on your confusion, your reaction, your emotional spiral, which is why Stoicism becomes your shield. Calm, observation, clarity. A toxic person wants you reactive. A Stoic becomes unshakable. Today, we reveal the 5 psychological traps toxic people use and how Stoic thinking dismantles them before they take hold. Not with aggression, not with shouting, but with awareness. Because you cannot defeat what you refuse to see. And once you see it, you can break free from it. We often assume toxicity is a modern problem, born from social media, workplaces, or relationships. But ancient Stoics recognized these tactics long before the word manipulation existed. Seneca warned of those who injure under the guise of friendship. Epictetus wrote that people use mockery and doubt to control the minds of others. Marcus Aurelius noted how some will demand your energy and justify their claims with virtue. In ancient Rome, manipulation did not look like emotional texts or gaslighting. It looked like flattery. It looked like guilt. It looked like public shame. The methods evolved. The intentions did not. Toxic people exploited human psychology then, and they exploit it now. The strategy is timeless. Make you doubt your judgment. Make you question your choices. Make you feel responsible for their emotions. Once doubt takes root, control becomes easy. But here's the twist. Stoic philosophy predicted this because Stoicism is not about apathy or coldness. It is about recognizing when your emotions are being used against you. And the ancient warning is clear. When you surrender your clarity, you surrender your freedom. Which is why today's manipulation is more dangerous, not because it is stronger, but because it is subtle, digital, social, normalized. You can be surrounded by toxic patterns without noticing. By the time you question it, the trap is already set. In this video, we will break down the 5 psychological traps toxic people use to control your thoughts and behavior. We will reveal why certain words are designed to trigger guilt, how emotional confusion is used to silence boundaries, why toxicity makes you feel like the problem, how to recognize manipulation early, and the Stoic responses that instantly neutralize these tactics. Each trap will show you the subtle tactic, the hidden accusation behind it,
real-world examples, a Stoic quote that exposes it, and a practical response that keeps you calm and grounded. This is not about becoming cold, or detached, or emotionless. It is about becoming aware. Because the greatest defense against manipulation is clarity, and Stoicism gives you the language, the mindset, and the emotional discipline to maintain control. By the end of this video, you will understand why toxic tactics are predictable, how they exploit instinct, and how to break free without chaos or conflict. You will learn to stand firm without aggression, to protect your peace without explanation, to recognize manipulation without internalizing it. You will walk away no longer as a pawn in someone else's psychological game, but as a player who understands the rules. Stay until the end, because the final segment will reveal the core Stoic mindset that makes manipulation impossible, and that alone is worth your time. If self-mastery, calm thinking, and emotional freedom matter to you, hit subscribe, like this video, and join a community committed to strength through wisdom. This is Stoic clarity. This is psychological freedom. This is how you break the trap.
Trap number 1. Why are you making such a big deal out of this? It sounds harmless. It sounds rational. It sounds like someone trying to calm a situation down. But it isn't. This question is designed to do one thing: shift the focus away from their behavior and make you question your reaction. On the surface, it implies you are overreacting. Beneath the surface, it implies your feelings are invalid. Think about a workplace example. You confront a coworker for taking credit for your idea. They shrug and say, "Why are you making such a big deal? It's just a meeting." Suddenly, the conversation isn't about honesty. It's about your emotions, your tone, your sensitivity. Or in a friendship, you explain that a joke went too far. They respond, "Seriously? You're upset over that?" It looks casual, but it's inversion. They become the rational one. You become the irrational one. Marcus Aurelius warned, "The opinion of others is a shifting sand. Stand on your own foundation." This trap tries to erode that foundation. It triggers guilt, confusion, self-doubt. Because once you question your reaction, you forget the reason for it. So what would a Stoic do? A calm response might be, "It matters to me, and my feelings are valid. We can discuss it respectfully." Not aggressive, not apologetic, clear. The takeaway? The moment you justify your reaction, you surrender the truth of your experience. A Stoic recognizes this trap and refuses to debate their right to feel. Awareness neutralizes the tactic. Clarity defeats the question. Trap number 2. If you really cared, you would. This trap is manipulation at its purest. It weaponizes loyalty. It weaponizes empathy. It weaponizes your desire to be good. By attaching care to conditions, toxic people rewrite the rules of the relationship. If you cared, you'd answer immediately. If you cared, you'd cancel your plans. If you cared, you'd forgive me. Notice the structure. Your care is questioned. Their demands are justified. Your boundaries become proof of neglect. In relationships, this looks like you try to set time for yourself. They reply, "If you loved me, you'd want to spend every moment with me." In family dynamics, you refuse to be dragged into drama. They reply, "Family doesn't abandon each other." The language sounds emotional, but it's transactional. Seneca warned, "He who demands love does not understand it." Stoicism teaches real care is not proven through sacrifice, but through sincerity. This trap turns love into leverage, kindness into currency. So what would a Stoic do? A grounded response might be, "I care, but caring doesn't require surrendering my needs or values. This shifts control. You refuse the emotional ransom. The empowerment? You realize that guilt is not a measure of love, and boundaries are not betrayal. Trap number 3. You're the only one who thinks that. This tactic creates isolation. It suggests your perspective is abnormal. It implies everyone else agrees with them. And the goal is simple: make you doubt your judgment because the majority disagrees. This trap is powerful because humans seek validation. We look to social cues. We interpret group approval as truth. The toxic person knows this. In school environments, this might sound like, no one else had a problem with the joke, just you. In group friendships, you're the only one who thinks she's toxic. Maybe you're the problem. At work, well, the team supports the decision. Do you really want to stand alone? Notice something crucial. They never name the group. They never provide proof. It's psychological theater. Because if they can make you feel alone, they can make you feel wrong. Epictetus warned, if you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish. Stoicism acknowledges a painful truth. Doing what's right often means standing alone. This trap tries to shame you back into silence. So what would a Stoic do? A firm response might be, others may agree or disagree, but I stand by my perspective. This breaks isolation. It reclaims autonomy. The takeaway? Majority is not morality. Consensus is not correctness. A Stoic does not seek truth in numbers, but in reason. These first 3 traps share a pattern. They minimize your feelings. They question your loyalty. They isolate your perspective. And each aims to destabilize your inner clarity. Recognizing these tactics is the first step. Responding with grounded composure is the second. In the next section, we'll explore traps 4 and 5, which go even deeper. One uses confusion as a weapon, and the other turns responsibility upside down. And then we'll break down the Stoic mindset that makes manipulation powerless. Calm, clear, unshakable. Trap number 4. I guess I'm just the bad guy then? This trap is dramatic, it's emotional, it's intentionally theatrical. And its goal is simple: shift the spotlight from their actions to their victimhood. This statement is not an apology, it is a diversion, it is a hook for sympathy. By saying, I guess I'm the bad guy, they are not accepting blame, they are fishing for reassurance. They want you to say, no, you're not the bad guy. And in that moment, you begin defending them instead of holding them accountable. This trap exploits empathy. It exploits your desire for fairness. It exploits your discomfort with conflict. Let's look at real examples. You confront a friend for insulting you. They sigh dramatically. Fine, I'm terrible. I ruin everything. Suddenly, you stop expressing your hurt and start comforting them. Or in a relationship, you set a boundary. They emotionally collapse. Okay, I'm the villain, you're perfect, I'm trash. Seneca captured this perfectly. Some apologize to escape correction, not to admit fault. This is not remorse, it is manipulation disguised as remorse. So what would a Stoic do? A clear response might be, this isn't about labeling anyone, it's about addressing the behavior. This redirects, it preserves the original issue. The takeaway? You are not responsible for comforting someone who weaponizes self-pity to avoid accountability. A Stoic sees through theatrics and returns to truth. Trap number 5. You made me do this. This is the most dangerous trap. It shifts responsibility. It justifies harm.
It reframes their choices as your fault. Toxic individuals use this tactic to avoid ownership. You made me yell. You made me lie. You made me react like that. No one makes another person choose disrespect. No one makes another person betray trust. This tactic is a direct assault on accountability, and it plants a seed of doubt. What if I really did cause this? In workplace dynamics, a leader blames stress for poor treatment of employees. You become the scapegoat for their lack of control. In friendships, a person hides betrayal behind, "I only kept it secret because you overreact." Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Stoicism rejects this trap completely. Why? Because the core Stoic belief is responsibility for one's own actions. So what would a Stoic do? A steady response might be, "Your actions are your choice. I am responsible for mine, not yours." This cuts the cord. It ends the projection. The empowerment? You reclaim agency. You reject blame that does not belong to you. This trap collapses the moment you refuse to carry their responsibility. Stoic thinking to avoid manipulation. Now that we've revealed the 5 psychological traps, we need to understand why they work and how to dismantle them from within. Toxic manipulation does not begin in the external world. It begins in the emotional world, through guilt, confusion, people-pleasing, isolation, fear of conflict. These tactics target emotions first, logic second, because if they trigger your emotions, they can bypass your reasoning. Stoicism teaches the opposite approach. Observe emotions before reacting to them, not to suppress, but to understand. Imagine manipulation as a storm. The winds are guilt. The rain is doubt. The thunder is blame. The unprepared person stands in the open, soaked, shaken, disoriented. But the Stoic builds shelter using clarity, boundaries, self-ownership. Epictetus warned, "No person is free who is not master of himself." This is the foundation. A manipulator's success depends on your reaction. When you react emotionally, they steer the conversation. When you remain calm, they lose control. Stoicism provides 3 core tools. 1. Detachment. Detachment isn't apathy, it is distance between trigger and response. It allows you to think instead of absorb. 2. Observation. Observe patterns, not excuses. Recognize tactics, not tone. Identify intention, not performance. 3. Non-reaction. Silence is not surrender. It is strategy. It is refusing to play the emotional game. This is how Stoicism breaks manipulation. It refuses bait. It refuses guilt. It refuses blame. When you no longer react the way they expect, their tactics collapse. You reclaim 3 things: emotional control, mental clarity, personal freedom. This is the heart of the Stoic shield. Toxic people want you confused, guilty, defensive. Stoicism makes you calm, clear, unshakable. And when their traps no longer work, they can no longer control you.
Now you see the pattern. Toxic tactics don't begin with shouting. They begin with subtlety, with questions that make you doubt yourself, with guilt that twists love into obligation, with isolation that turns confidence into confusion, with theatrics that pull you away from truth, with blame that transfers responsibility from them to you. These traps thrive when you react emotionally, when you defend, when you justify, when you explain. But here's the shift. The moment you recognize the tactic, you reclaim control. Stoicism isn't about being cold, it's about being conscious. Marcus Aurelius taught, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Toxic people want your reactions. A Stoic guards their responses. And when you learn to pause, to observe, to detach, the game changes. You stop being the pawn, you become the player. You stop absorbing guilt. You start identifying manipulation. You stop defending your boundaries. You start enforcing them. The power no longer belongs to the person who triggers you. It belongs to you who chooses how to respond. Epictetus reminded us, no one can harm you unless you allow it. And this is your turning point. You don't need to fight toxic behavior with anger. You don't need to win every argument. You don't need to fix anyone. You only need clarity, awareness, self-ownership. So say it with conviction. I choose clarity. I choose boundaries. I choose calm. I choose freedom. Because psychological traps only work in the shadows. Once you shine awareness on them, they fall apart. If you found strength in this message, if you want more tools for inner peace and emotional mastery, like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to join a community committed to wisdom, resilience, and self-respect. Drop a comment below. I choose clarity, because clarity is the first step, calm is the second, freedom is the result, and now you have the wisdom to break free.